Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel for another fantastic build. Today we are going to be building with very special emphasis on the brand new storybook nursery kit. And before we get started, I wanted to thank the EA Creator Network. They're not paying me for the video, but they did send me the pack for free. So huge shout out to that, but without further ado, let's get into it. As you can see, we are building in the world of Forgotten Hollow, which is the world that came with the Sims 4 Vampire Stuff Pack, and is one of the smallest worlds that we have in the game. I believe there's only a total of 5 lots. It's where Vladdy Daddy lives, as well as one of my faves, Caleb and Lily Vatour, and it also is a very poorly lit world. So while building this, I decided to turn on my G-Shade for the majority of it. For those of you who don't know what G-Shade is, it's essentially just like a big filter for your entire game. And it can help with like the lighting and the shadows and stuff like that. And I just thought it was more enjoyable to watch like this. I don't typically turn this on in my builds. Granted, I did just start using it like a few weeks ago, because for those of you who don't know, I've been getting into like making cute little like shorts, if you will, of my Sims playing for my TikTok channel. So, you know, follow me on TikTok if you want. It's kind of a big deal, not a big deal. Actually, don't judge me too hard because I'm new at them, so like I don't feel like they're super great, but I can't be good at them if I don't start trying. So I've been trying, been having a lot of fun with it, and I think the G-Shade like helps them look better when I have to like convert the file from being on my desktop to being essentially in a TikTok form. And it's just so beautiful and gorge, and I just love it, okay? I love it. And for those of you who do want to download G-Shade or Reshade for your game, I'm gonna be so for real. Don't ask me how I did it. Don't ask me. I don't know. It took like 6 hours for me to figure out. I don't know if it's that hard or if I'm just that technically challenged, but I could not figure it out. I watched multiple YouTube videos. I wish I could be like, oh, like I'll link down below who. I will try to go back and link some of the creators I watched, because I seriously watched several different videos. I was on subreddits, I was on Google, I was praying that I could just get it to work, and I finally did, and I honestly don't know if I set it up right. And then like, I started building this because I wanted to build something for spooky season, and then of course EA was like, hey, we have a kit we're dropping, and I was like, frick, this is gonna be such a good kit for this house. So I essentially built the shell and did like the common areas because I wanted to wait for the storybook nursery kit to come out, and I'm so glad I did. I really like that kit. I think any of the kits that they've done lately where they're teaming up with a custom content creator, they just come out so much better. For those of you who don't know, some of my favorite kits are like the Book Nook stuff pack, or the Book Nook kit, as well as the pastel pop kit, which like obviously they're like kind of the best ones, but the storybook nursery kit was actually in collaboration with a custom content creator who many of you probably know, which is 6MCC. I will link their stuff in the description box down below. Feel free to go check out like their Patreon and all that, support them as a creator. Because they make some really good stuff. I know I don't really advertise a lot of custom content on my channel, and the reason for that is my lack of impulse control makes it impossible for me to really have a lot of it in my game, because it is so gorgeous. It is so gorgeous. Some of my favorite people to follow on TikTok are like people who make mini machinimas with a lot of custom content, whether it's alpha custom content or Max's Match custom content. I'm just sitting there in awe, and I've got way too much going on here to even remotely entertain having that in my game. But I really enjoyed the nursery kit. I think it's nice that we're finally getting a kit to bring us some more stuff for infants, because you really only have like a couple base game items for infants, and then the majority of it comes with Growing Together, which is a very expensive pack. One of my favorites, but that's because it's super in line with what I personally like in my gameplay style. But anyway, I'm pretty excited to be using it. I think the swatches are beautiful. I like the little pieces of lore. I am not the most critical person. Hold on. I don't want to lie. Okay, I am a trifling hater. I am a hater. And I talk a lot. I talk a lot of shit. I do. So let me think about how I would like to phrase this. I don't enjoy hurting people's feelings, and I feel like although I am a hater, I'm not as critical as the majority of the community can be sometimes. And I think it's because I just get so easily distracted. And this is what I mean when I say that. If you give me a kit or a stuff pack or an expansion pack that's buggy, am I going to complain? Absolutely. Absolutely. But I just don't have that keen eye for detail. Like, sometimes when people are pointing things out, I'm like, oh my god, I did not even notice that. Like, and then obviously I become a hater. Like, what do you mean I paid $40 for a pack, and in that pack some of the builds are that ugly and like don't have toilets and are like not functional? Like, but I just don't have that keen eye for detail all the time. With that being said, I can also forgive a lot when I'm given very little. I am in therapy, so don't worry about that. We're talking specifically in The Sims right now, okay? So like, the lore they gave us in this kit, if you look at the little mobile that comes with the Storybook Nursery kit, the little Bella Goth in there, oh. If you guys do not know what happened to my girl Bella Goth circa Sims 2, please finish this video first, give it a little thumbs up, subscribe to my channel so you can come back and we can talk about it a little bit more, and then go YouTube it, okay? Because it is my Roman Empire. I think about it at least once a week. I can't say once a day because I have a lot of stuff going on in here. Flies around a lot. I think about it so much. And I also love lore. I love drama. I love spicy tea. And I just think that the argument when people say, like, The Sims 2 is the best Sims game, that's not necessarily my sentiment. And that is because The Sims 3 was my first Sims game. And I love The Sims 3. And I love the color wheel. Anyway. But it's a good freaking run for your money because the amount of lore in that game is so top-notch. And I do think the Sims team has been trying to step it up a little bit. I do wish they would go back and add some more into, like, the base game. One thing I would really love to see, and I don't know anything about content creation. I don't know anything about, like, game creation and things like that. But I would imagine it would be a semi-easy fix. Like, when you're downloading the base game, for those of you who did not know, Johnny Zest is actually the disowned son of the Landgrab family. And you don't even see that on the family tree. And I think it would be nice if, like, they at least recognized him or even had some kind of negative relationship built into the base game. So if you were to, like, play as Johnny or in Johnny's household, it would have, like, a negative moodlet with the Landgrabs as a whole, rather than having the game meaning, like, they just don't know each other at all. Because if I wanted to have Johnny Zest have an affair with Nancy Landgrab, I totally could, but that's his mom. And, like, I'm here for messy, but I don't think that's messy on purpose. I think it's messy out of, like, no attention to detail, no lore. And I want lore, okay? That's why I was really excited with the Horse Ranch pack. I talk about the Horse Ranch pack a lot because it's one of my favorite expansion packs, and I don't always recommend it for people to buy because if you only can buy one singular pack, I don't think that's the pack you should buy unless you absolutely want horses and you really like that style of gameplay. But the reason I love it so much is because it's not my typical style of gameplay, and I find the pack to be very well done. I know people say it's glitchy and they wish it wasn't a wormhole and blah, 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 blah. I am a hater, but I don't see things that way, and I really enjoy the build assets. I love the world. I think it's a beautiful world. I like that it feels cohesive throughout, so even lots that are not real lots are still something you can actually use. And I love the lore. I really do. I think that it's super fun. For those of you who don't know, the Guzman household has got some lore with Agnes Crumplebottom from the Sims 4 Cottage Living, and I just fucking eat that up. I eat that up, okay? And I don't like confrontation, and I only like drama when I get to watch it from a far distance because I'm a very sensitive person and I don't like when people are mad at me, and I cry a lot. So, like, drama is not for me. I actually love when people are like, oh, how's it been going? What's new in life? And I go, nothing. Nothing is new. Everything is actually quite, you know, leveled out and fine. Knock on wood. Like, I don't want to jinx myself or nothing. But when I'm at work and some of my favorite regulars come up to me, or, like, someone I haven't seen in a while comes up to me and, like, slams their arms on the bar and goes, girl, oh, eat that up. I eat that up, okay? I just love that. Or when I'm in stream, like, I have some regulars who come in and, like, stream, you know what I mean? Shout out to you guys, by the way, because I love when I see you in there. But when they drop tea on me, I love that. I really like to be supportive. I think I get that from my mom. My mom is one of those people, maybe one, I don't know if she would do this for everyone, but for me, my mom was like almost overly supportive of like things I wanted to do. Like I made this joke when I was going to college. I was like, might need to just like sell my undies online or something to like pay for these books. And my mom was like, entrepreneurial. Yes. She's like, get a P.O. box. It will be safe. Girl, no. I think this is the one time as my mom you can go, no. Listen, Mama Heather, shout out Mama Heather one time, is very supportive. And for that, we cherish her. But I get that from her. A lot of the times, people will tell me things, whether it's online, whether it's in person. And I make it a rule that if you're talking to me and I'm your friend, especially if we don't have a super close relationship, if I'm your friend and I don't know the person in your story, because I'll check my friends if they need to, but not everyone wants to be checked. Sometimes they just want to rant and say the most out-of-pocket stuff, and they know they're being out-of-pocket. They just want you to agree with them. And I get that. Sometimes they want advice. Sometimes they want support. Sometimes they want to be checked. But if you're telling me a story and I don't know anyone else involved, you're right. You're right. There's no way you could be wrong. We hate them collectively. Oh my God, someone cut you off in traffic? What a jerk. I hate them. I hope they have a mediocre life. I don't wish bad upon people, but I wish mediocrity on people all of the time. I'm a hater. Anyway, we just like blew through like a majority of the build. And as you can see, we're in like a kind of teenager's room. It's very spooky. I was kind of going for like Addams Family vibes, if you will. This actually really, we want to really talk about what this house was inspired about. I will link the TikTok page in the description down below so you guys know what I'm talking about. I hope you already do. But the nursery is what inspired this for the new nursery kit coming out. And moreover, what really inspired the nursery is the Gothic baby. If you've ever seen that account on TikTok, and this woman like they like live in like a Victorian style home, and they just really gravitate towards like Gothic stylings. But she like does voiceovers with her kid, who's like always like decked out in like Gothic wear, and is so stinking cute. And she does cute little voiceovers almost as she's like characterizing Wednesday Addams, but like per a toddler. And I think it's like really funny and very joyous, and I really like it. So yeah, that's really who inspired this house, because I've never had an original thought in my own head ever. And I spend way too much time on TikTok, but I have social anxiety, so what else am I to do besides talk to myself from the comfort of my couch chair in my office alone, and play Sims or scroll on TikTok. I also read a lot of books, so drop some recommendations down below. But we are coming to the end, and we're going to jump in game for a live tour because I know we were zooming around and yapping like always. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay team, we have made it into our final tour, and this is our gorgeous build. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a little 360 moment, but the house really fills up the lot very nicely, at least, you know, in my opinion, but I'm the one who, you know, built it. So I guess there's that. I will say I really struggle with the landscaping in this world because I'm not the best landscaper to begin with. So when you take this kind of like dead, molted foliage and tell me to just go, I struggled a bit, I won't lie. But I did enjoy the side yard. I don't typically do side yards. I'm more of a backyard kind of girl. But we did a side yard with lots of little gravestones from the debug menu and a cute little bench. I put a little bee box in here just because I wanted some extra activities. And then of course a kiddie pool, because the Gothic baby needs a kiddie pool to play in this yard with. This fence is actually from debug as well. And these stone pathways, there are some that come in the debug menu, but this is actually the one from the Riviera Retreat Kit. It's in the rug category if you're looking for it. And then we are just filled out the wazoo with porch space. So we have these cute two chairs for like a sitting area. And then throughout we have plants for all of the magical plants we might need. And then we of course have a flower arranging table or a woodworking table actually, I apologize. And of course, did I even build it if it doesn't have a telescope in it? Because I put telescopes in like all my freaking builds. It's kind of embarrassing. But let's do a little top down. This house is actually technically 3 stories. But of course there's nothing in like the tower because I just wanted a tower. It's gothic. Let me turn my grid on, so if anyone wants to copy the floor plan, they can. But we have 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms upstairs, and then downstairs we have an additional office and our living area. But let's head on in. I'm going to turn my grid off, which you can turn on and off just by pressing your G key on your keyboard, for those of you who don't know. But you come in. We have a very formal entryway. It's kind of tight, but I really struggled with stair placement because I did use medium wall height, and the stairs are very, very steep. But it's alright. It's very nice and playable. I used some of those new archways from the huge, like, 750 swatch update that we got in the base game. Shout out to EA for that, because you know I like new swatches. I like free shit. But I really enjoyed it. And then you come in here into our living space, and this is actually one of my favorite areas in the entire house because I did struggle with the floor plan at first, but I all in all think it came out really nice. I like this little octagonal bump out thing, if you will, and it makes for a nice dining area. And then just the living room, the way it flows, it's very closed off floor plan, but I think that's very true to the style. I imagine the people who live here, they found this like kind of rundown Victorian house and they said, this is our vibe, and they restored the character like fully. They tried to keep as much of the original aspects of this build as they could, and anything they couldn't, they like matched to the style, which I personally really like, because if I see one more house flipper put gray laminate floors and white shaker style cabinets into a cute little bungalow, I am going to commit several crimes. Not gonna go into detail as to which ones, but this is our living room, and then of course we have our office space. I wanted to add some like little kind of magical items, so we have like a cute little cow plant and just like a desk. Yes, this is definitely gravitating towards like a certain style of gameplay, probably more of an occult sim, but like maybe you've just got a bougie bitch who wants to live and thrive in her vibe, because that's how I am. I am one breakdown and one lottery ticket away from moving to a cute little bungalow covered in floor-to-ceiling bookshelves, and there's going to be like pink fluffy pillows everywhere. But alas, for now I'm just a girl with 2 jobs and 2 dogs. Then we have our kitchen. The kitchen is freaking huge, and I actually used the cabinets that came with the For Rent pack because I just thought they like matched the best out of all, like everything. There is tile everywhere in this freaking kitchen, and I really like it. I did debate on having kind of an island, but I didn't want it to be too cramped because it's very closed off. But this kitchen is ginormous. It's honestly probably 3 times the size of my actual kitchen in my townhome, so I am jealous. And then of course out here we just have a backyard. There's not a lot to do, but it felt right. I could have put this house on a bigger lot and then maybe added some sort of like greenhouse or observatory, but I didn't. But if you wanted to, if you download this house and play it, let me know. I think I like that idea. Then coming on upstairs, we have a very like long skinny hallway, nothing too crazy. I added in the bookshelf from the Storybook Nursery Kit with our little photo of, oh my god, can you not be rude? Our little photo of Bella Goth, which I'm completely obsessed with. I really like all the swatches that come with this. And I actually think the Storybook Nursery Kit can pair really well with a lot of the stuff we have in the base game if you did only have, say, the base game and the Storybook Nursery Kit. Then we have our actual nursery. Oops, looks like I forgot to move that. I moved some stuff around and I think I forgot that. I freaking love this set. I love the wallpaper. I love the furniture. It's serving. But we have a nice little sitting area. Maybe mom or dad can sit here and read some books. And then a play area. This pillow is from, I believe this is from the Tiny Critters camping kit. Yes, it is. But it's actually a chair, which I thought was really cute, so they could sit there and like play. And then of course this moment, the drama that this is giving, oh, unfreaking deniable. It's so good. Then we have a little Jack and Jill bathroom. I love a Jack and Jill bathroom. And that brings us into our teenager's room, and I really like the way this bed, which I've never used a swatch on this bed, from High School Years paired with these base game end tables. And like the black and the blue was kind of a jarring combination, but I thought I made it work pretty well. And there's like some skill building items. It's very teenage girl. Also, this blanket, this is a Woohoo blanket from the Love Struck Pack. Sorry, you just watched me lose my train of thought and then like jump back on it. It is not functional the way it's placed, but I kind of like the vibes of it. But of course, it's faux. It's faux. I was talking about this the other day, the way that I so badly want to pet a bear. I know you can't. I don't need comments being like, you really shouldn't. And then I'd be like, I really want to pet a baby one. And they'd be like, that's even worse. I know you can't pet a bear. But if I had like rich people money, like the FU kind of money, where like they go off and they like hunt elephants and like rare tigers, I would never do that. I would never do that. Scout's honor. Scout's honor. But if I was like in the middle of nowhere, just had some like gator bites in some weird like side of the road shack. I'm from Florida, that stuff happens. And they were like, hey, I got a bear knocked out in the back of my shop. It's completely sleepy sleep. It's gonna wake up, we're gonna release it. Very ethical. Very nice. And they were like, wanna pet it? I'm not gonna lie, I would pet it. I'd pet it. He'd be like, $40 right now, pet it. I would pet it. I would. And I would probably take that to the grave. But I would be so excited. Yeah. That might make me a bad person. It's okay if it does. I won't actually have that opportunity, and I would never spend money to do it. But I would. If I could, I would. That didn't go into our primary bathroom, or our primary bedroom, which is kind of a weird shape. But I like the way it came out. I really like this bed from Cottage Living paired with the Paranormal Stuffed Back rug. It was like a whole vibe. And I used the vampire wallpaper because, for those of you who don't know, the vampire wallpaper kind of serves. Like, it's pretty good. When it's the vibe you're going for, it's the vibe that always works. And then I used like a little sitting area over here. And then, of course, we have a balcony with a cauldron that is actually filled with mac and cheese because I made a little Sims machinima for this house. Check it out on my TikTok page if you want. And that is pretty much the entire house. I really like the way it came out. I love this style, this like over dramatized Victorian style. Kind of reminds me of home. I'm from a pretty old small town in Florida, so we have a lot of like buildings like this, kind of like this, kind of not. Like in the old historic downtown areas, you'd find a lot of buildings like this, and I just love them. They're of course not this big because I'm from an island, so like they can't be that big, but I absolutely love this. And if you liked it, make sure you give it a little thumbs up. Let me know, did you get the storybook nursery kit? Are you planning on getting it, and did you like it? Also, go check out the lore on Bella Goth if you don't already know. It'll change your life. Be ready. And with that being said, if you want to continue to see more of my builds, make sure you subscribe to my channel. You know I love when you do that. Don't forget to drink your water, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.